one of the famous quotes of Saint Teresa of Avila, the first woman doctor of the Church, who lived in the 16th century, that is the 1500s, goes something like this: "Let nothing disturb you, let nothing frighten you. All things are passing, God is unchanging. Patience gains all. Nothing is lacking to those who have God. God alone is sufficient." Words of profound truth, which have an even greater impact on us when we consider the background against which Saint Teresa of Avila said these words. In the 1500s, what was going on in the world, church-wise and world-wise? Well, the Protestant Reformation was in fact well underway. Whole countries in Europe had gone under the influence of Protestantism. Germany and Switzerland and other countries. In England, the church had gone away and broken away through Henry VIII and his decision, and so we have tremendous upheaval within the church. But worldwide, the bubonic plague was creating real havoc. Between 1/3 and 2/3 of the communities wherever the plague struck ended up dying. That is a major pandemic. In fact, the worst that the world has ever seen. But when we keep these words in our own times, it helps us to maintain perspective on our own situation. Our situation is way, way different from that of the bubonic plague. Not even close to being the Spanish flu that we experienced, or we didn't experience, but certainly Australia and the world experienced during the 1918 and 1920. It lasted for 2 years and 2 months, roughly. But in order to understand the profound impact of this truth of Saint Teresa of Avila, to place our hope and trust in God, it's also important for us to be equipped with enough of the information so we know the truth of what we're hearing and seeing. So much of what we're being presented with is only half the truth, or an imbalanced version of the facts. They're not presented to us in a measured way, and so it serves to play into the hands of fear. And once fear grabs hold of our heart, it is very hard to retain our peace. And so knowing a little few of the facts, in fact, helps us to maintain such a perspective. For example, how many active cases of COVID are there in New South Wales at the moment? About 2,857 active cases. Today, 30th of July, there are 187, as of today, there are 187 patients in hospitals recovering from COVID. Of those 187 patients, only 24 are on ventilators. So you measure how many are on ventilators, and that's pretty bad. It's about 0.84% are actually on ventilators out of all the people who suffer, which means therefore that 99.4% of cases are mild. Yet we are told, unfortunately, that this figure shows how severe things really are. Now, if I told you that losing less than 1 mark from your exam, so you get 99.4% in your exam, that shows how severely mistaken or lacking in knowledge you are, what would you say to that? Yeah, you're probably chuckling right now. But that's in fact what we're being told. It's not a balanced version of the situation. Yes, it's factual, but it's not measured. In fact, things are bad, yes, but things are not severe. It's an alarming use of the term. We need to say that things are what they are, but when fear is being used as a technique, then it stands to lose people or rob people of their peace. And so by being equipped with this information and holding firmly to the teaching of Saint Teresa of Avila, let nothing disturb you, let nothing frighten you. God is unchanging. God alone is sufficient. then we will stand on solid ground that yes, all things will pass, and this too will pass. And even though we feel powerless, locked up in our homes and unable to roam about freely, we will still feel free inside because we're convinced with the knowledge of the truth and with a balanced view of the actual facts concerning this virus that's affecting our society at this time.